SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Pike County.
Here comes your morning show.
Dave in the morning
on 93.5 FM, SuperTalk Mississippi.
So now, understand, you're not going to dictate to me what I do and what I don't do, but I'm still the mayor, Mr. Frank.
Bloody angle, the symmetry. Your cheap adhesive isn't holding me. My mouth is a gun I can shoot. I can show you the truth. No pun intended, no punishment. If I offended you, you needed it. Ideas are the bombs in your mind. A fisher in time. If you don't have a weapon, you can't have mine.
None of this meeting is recorded. None by any party. Correct?
No, sir, mine is recorded. I'm being accused.
Any conversation.
Said I want to make it on record. I want the allegations in writing, party accused, party on recording of this harassment.
And now, here's your host, Dave Hughes.
Good morning to you on a Thursday, not just any Thursday. You know, Thursdays happen all year long. At roughly the rate of once a week. There's a couple of weeks I'm not too sure about, but mostly it's once a week we get a Thursday. But it's only certain times of the year that we get a North Pike Thursday, and today is one of those, brought to you by the Southwest Center for Rehab, Chad Reed, your shelter insurance agent, and Macomb Wholesale Paper. And joining me in studio for North Pike Thursday today is, every organization has one person who just basically takes care of everything. Basically dots all the I's, crosses all the T's, sits in the corner and sobs gently to themselves at times. And they hold the entire place together. We got that guy here with us today, Kevin Martin. How you doing this morning, man?
Doing good, Dave.
Now, after that build-up, you got to bring some good stuff here.
I guess so. You know, I'm a late replacement this morning, so I'll do the best I can.
oh, look, it's my point. You're just backing it up there,
That's
buddy.
Right. That's right.
So how are things going this year so far?
Going well. We've had a good start to the year. Athletic-wise, everything's going well. We're finish up volleyball tonight. Our first full season of volleyball. We'll finish that up tonight. We played this year as an independent, so no playoffs for us. So this will be it. But we won 4 games last year, 7 games this year we won. So we've got a chance to win our 8th game of the year going up to Brookhaven tonight. And if we keep doubling the win output, that bodes pretty well for next year. So
I think so. Now, starting next year, we will be in
we'll be in an official region. We should know our regions sometime around the first week in November. MHSA will put those out. We've turned in our numbers, our attendance numbers, our enrollment numbers, and they'll get that official enrollment number from Education Department probably this week, and then we'll know classification and region around the first week in November.
Well, and that's the thing to remember for a lot of people. If you don't keep up with sports outside the big three, if you will,
right.
It's not just a set region, and it's going to be the same regional and district opponents that you get in football, for example.
Not necessarily. We have had some years where, you know, depending on the sport, a couple years ago, football played a 7-team region, and all other sports played a 4-team region, and it was totally different. So it just depends on which schools play certain sports. Not everybody has bowling, or not everybody may have girls powerlifting or volleyball. So just depending on which schools have those sports. And then, of course, they try to match you up regionally as far as travel, but it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you will wind up making a pretty good trip on a Tuesday night.
Last thing you want on a Tuesday night is a road trip to Senatobia or Oxford.
Right.
It's not going to end well. Now, and of course, just a couple of years ago, there wasn't volleyball at North
Exactly.
Pike.
So we're one of those schools now who have added it. So that that's kind of those situations as schools add sports or maybe drop sports. I mean that happens sometimes too, where there's not enough participation or they may not have the coaches to be able to fill those sports. Sometimes that happens too. So if a school drops a sport, then that could change the region as well. So
it's a never-ending headache, isn't it?
It is. It seems like we do it a lot more often than every 2 years. I mean, it seems like it's an ongoing process, but we reclassify every 2 years.
Well, and when I heard, or somebody reminded me for the first time a couple of months ago that we had reclassification coming up, that was my reaction. I was like, wait, it can't be time for that again.
Right. It seems like it happens a lot more often.
Yeah, but hey, that's good. It's progress. Right?
Sure, absolutely.
How's attendance been for volleyball?
Attendance has been really good. We scheduled some local schools. We played some of the schools that we think will be in the region with Brookhaven and Florence and some of those schools, and then we scheduled other local schools that have been playing volleyball for a while. So attendance has been really good, and it's been a good season.
Now, another thing I want to make sure we get this out right now. For those that aren't aware, no football game tomorrow night.
That's correct. This is our off week. We finished up our non-region schedule last week at Columbia. Off week this week. Next week we'll go to Natchez and open up Region 3 5A play next week at Natchez. So no football game this Friday.
I would assume that the classification for North Pike is going to stay the same this time.
I feel pretty confident we'll stay 5A. The numbers unofficial number that we turned in was right where we were 2 years ago. We really haven't lost any enrollment. So I feel pretty confident we'll stay 5A. I think we were 6 or 7 schools into the classification. Nice. So we weren't that bottom school bouncing back and forth like we have been before.
It wasn't that long ago.
Right.
It depended from year to year because it was a difference of what I think at one point like 6 or 7 students.
Right. Yeah.
And you were either the largest 4A school in the state or the smallest 5A school in the state.
Right.
One of those is a lot more fun on game night.
Sure. Yeah.
Because
you would much rather be the largest in the classification than the smallest.
Yeah, but you know what? It's growth. It's a thriving school district. So we'll take the 5A.
Absolutely.
We'll take that. Band. Let me ask you this very quickly. Mm-hmm. Competition season going on. They're doing some new things.
They are. I know their first competition is this coming Saturday. They're going to Kapai Academy. And that's always a nice event. I've been to that several times over the years with my daughter being in the band and going up and supporting them. So I know that's this coming Saturday. And then I believe the Saturday after the Florence game should be October the 19th, I believe. They're going to Hoover, Alabama for a competition there, which will actually, and I found this out last week talking to Mr. Boulware, band director. It's actually going to be done in the Hoover Met, the baseball stadium where they play the SEC tournament.
That's pretty nice.
That'll be a cool experience, I think, to be able to go to that venue and kids will have an opportunity to perform at the Hoover Met. So,
is it too early to talk basketball?
Absolutely not, because it'll be here before we know it.
I know it's coming up quick.
Yeah,
it just seems like everything is bam.
I know it. October 26th. Basketball season gets kicked off. We're actually hosting a all-day jamboree that Saturday. We've got a lot of teams coming in. I think it starts about 9:30 that morning, and we'll play the last game about 5:30 or 6 that night. So it's an all-day jamboree on October the 26th, and looking forward to that. New coaching staffs for both boys and girls basketball teams. So some excitement there with new coaches coming in and, bringing some new things. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it brings excitement, but at the same time, and I think that's partially fueled by a little bit of uncertainty. How's this going to go?
Right.
You just don't know.
Right. On the boys' side, Coach Terlit Anderson's coming back. He's been out of coaching for a couple years. He's still the assistant principal at the elementary, but he's coming back to take over the boys' basketball program. And then on the girls' side, Coach Ron Kessler. A lot of people know Ron from the area. Most recently, Brookhaven Academy, but spent a lot of years at Wesson. I've known Ron for a long time, and so he's coming in, taking over the girls' basketball program.
Now, let's swap gears just a second here. I mean, athletics is kind of your forte. But academically, how are things going this year?
Going really well. We just got the official grade from Mississippi Department of Education, and for the first time since the accountability system has been put in place, North Pike School District is an A-rated school. North Pike High School, A-rated for the second year in a row, so we're certainly proud of that. I think there's going to be some things coming here in the next couple months, some celebrations that'll be ongoing in the district, just recognizing teachers and students and everybody, administrators for their hard work. And this is a good place. This is a good place to be, good place to work. It really is.
I'm going to throw you a curveball. I know I never do that.
Right.
That's why he always has this slightly haunted look in his eyes every time he walks into the studio. If you could talk to all the parents as a group at one time, get up on stage in front of them, and give them one piece of advice to help their kids succeed in school, what would it be?
I would say talk to your kids. Talk to your kids. Ask them about what has gone on in their school day. Ask them what they're learning about. Get involved. Just talk to your kid. I think that's the starting place for all of it. You know, when they get off the bus or they get in the car at car pickup, talk to them.
And that would apply to all age groups, all the way up to the seniors.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, a lot of people, and sometimes if you're living a busy life, if you're working 72 hours a day like Kevin does, it could be easy to fall into the trap of basically treating the kids like you would treat pets. You know, they're
Sure.
in the house, you got to keep them fed.
Right.
And aside from that,
Right.
you go over there and play, do something. But it goes a long way, I would think. That was such a great answer, because it goes a long way towards just making the kid feel like you care.
Absolutely, that you're a part of this educational journey, you know, with them. Just find out what's going on in their lives. You mentioned all the way up to the seniors. I have two kids in college now, and they were both great students all the way through school. They've been great students so far, but one is at Southeastern in Hammond, one's in Starkville at Mississippi State. I still, you know, what are y'all studying? How are your classes going? You know, you still be involved in your child's life, even when they're, you know, they may be 200 miles away, constantly talking, you know, staying involved.
Have you hit that point yet with the kids, by the way, where, you know, as they're growing up, things are great, and Daddy hung the moon. He could do no wrong. He knows everything. Then about 12 or 13, that kind of goes off the rails a little bit for everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think everybody experiences that. And I also have one who's about to be 13 who's still at home. So, yeah.
So you're about to
definitely experiencing that.
Another round incoming.
Right.
But then sometimes when they're off at college, sometimes right after, eventually there's a switch that flips and they go back to, oh, wait a minute, Dad!
Yeah, exactly.
You know, have you reached that point yet?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you get the phone call. What do I need to do?
Yes.
You know?
How do I deal with this?
Right.
What do I do?
Right.
And it makes it worth it all.
Sure.
In the long
Absolutely.
run.
Absolutely.
So a great year going on at North Pike. You don't have anything bad to talk about. Everything's good.
Everything's pretty good. Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about, I mean, you mentioned earlier that not all schools do all sports.
Mm-hmm.
Volleyball, heck, that just started at North Pike.
Right.
Got a bowling team, which I would suspect there's a fairly low number of school districts that have an official bowling team.
Not many schools have bowling, so our region for that historically has been going toward the coast. You know, we're in the region with the coast schools.
South half of the state.
Yeah. So there's a good bit of travel involved in that. And then not having a local bowling alley.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Also throws a big kink into it, being able to practice.
Where do you practice?
We actually bus the kids a couple days a week to Hattiesburg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But there's no other option.
Yeah. Hammond may be a little closer, but out-of-state travel, there's paperwork involved in that, so it's actually easier just to go to Hattiesburg.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But you got that. You've got archery, which is doing fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Are you guys looking down the road at any other sports you might consider adding in the future?
There aren't many
There's
left.
not many
to
left.
Add.
Yeah.
MHSA, they do sponsor esports, which is the gaming, video game sports. We have not gotten into that.
Do you think you might at some point?
It's been discussed. Again, there are some kinks that would have to be worked out as far as having an employee sponsor and a place to actually do to do it. But that's a possibility. And MHSA actually now sponsors wrestling.
Really?
Wrestling, yeah. So it's more popular. I think there are a few schools around the Jackson area, and then kind of the northwest corner of the state. Those schools have wrestling, but that is a sanctioned MHSA sport. I don't foresee us adding wrestling right now. I know that may be something for later down the road. But other than those two, and swimming, I guess, we don't offer swimming, but not many public schools in this area do. Again, that's a lot of your coast schools and your bigger schools around Jackson metro area offer swimming. But other than that, we field a team and everything else.
Just want to make sure that we make one thing clear before we go here. You're talking about wrestling as a sport. We're not talking about dropping the people's elbow. There are no steel chairs involved in
Olympic style wrestling.
Yeah. It's the other kind of wrestling. I just wanted to make sure, right? Because I could just see some parents getting their kid at home, getting them pumped up and ready, going, okay, you got to do it like this.
Right.
What you gonna do? Yeah, and that's just
no, that's not it.
It's a completely different thing. Good year going on. Fantastic things happening as always, and you're doing a good job. What are you going to do with all your free time tomorrow night?
I don't really know.
Nap. I'm telling you.
I don't know. I'm sure I'll have something to do.
You go find a quiet spot, climb up in a tree if you have to, get in a bush. I don't know, and just take a nap.
I am getting my food plots ready for deer season, so I may spend tomorrow afternoon and all day Saturday working on that.
Well, sometimes you got to have a little bit of time where you can just kick back and do something that you enjoy.
That's right.
Because you work so hard to make sure everybody else gets to do the things that they enjoy. So it's only fair you get a little bit of that too.
I'm going to try.
As soon as you start, you're going to get a phone call. Dad! We know how it works, right? Oh, yeah. Well. Kevin Martin, North Pike School District, keep up the good work. And I'm dead serious about that recommendation. Find some time, take some naps, man.
I'll try.
I get tired thinking about your schedule. Good grief. North Pike Thursdays, brought to you by the folks at Southwest Center for Rehab. Chad Reed, your shelter insurance agent, and Macomb Wholesale Paper.
It's a win-win with rehab at the Southwest Center for Rehabilitation and Sports Medicine. We're able to restore activity, strength, and range of motion right after injury or surgery. We offer targeted therapy by designing and adjusting specific treatment plans for individual needs, whether from sporting activities, arthritis, amputation, or everyday injuries. Get back to doing the things you love to do and feeling good while you do it. Contact the Southwest Center for Rehabilitation and Sports Medicine, 601-249-4758, 303 Marion Avenue, Macomb, or at smrmc.com.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
Come see me, Chad Reed, at 800 Rock Street for all of your home, auto, and life insurance needs. We're your shield, we're your shelter.
Macomb Wholesale Paper Company has been servicing our area for years with quality supplies. Macomb Wholesale Paper is your local source for supplying your office, restaurant, concession stand, or household, cleaning and janitorial supplies, food service items, and more. Got an event coming up? We offer daily rentals on popcorn machines, snowball machines, and cotton candy machines. Call 601-684-5521 or visit our new location at 1036 Gordon Covington Road in Summit. Macomb Wholesale Paper Company, delivering weekly to Macomb, Summit, and the local area.
This is Kristen with Selman's Jewelers. I'm excited to start a new trivia question of the week, so stay tuned for the answers. This week's question is going to be about the October birthstone opal. Opals are formed how many years ago? Opals form in several different colors. We'd love for you to stop by and see our collection today. Come by Selman's, your family-owned jewelry store since 1945, 1311 Delaware Avenue, Macomb.
Don't miss Dave in the morning, even when you miss it the first time. You can catch it on the podcast, missing out would be a crime. SuperTalk 93.5 is always the place to be. Wanna get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com, it's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have to pray. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com, it's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon or Apple, or just right there on the page.
North Pike football is back. It's another exciting season of North Pike Jaguar football on SuperTalk Mississippi Pike County 93.5. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A, Toyota of Brookhaven, Ag Up, Exhaust Pro, Southwest Mississippi Regional Medical Center, Peterbilt of Macomb, and Lot Furniture. It's North Pike Jaguar football on the air at 93.5 FM. Available online at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com and through your Alexa devices.
On the inside, you are innocence personified, and I will drag you down and sell you out. Run away. I am cold like December snow. I have carved out this soul made of stone, and I will drag you down. Embraced by the darkness, I'm losing the light. Encircled by demons I fight. What have I become? Now that I've betrayed everyone
Welcome back, SuperTalk Mississippi Pike County 93.5. I have thoroughly enjoyed watching this week the reaction online to the vice presidential debate. Now, let's just be right up front about this. There's never been a vice presidential debate in history that has moved the needle for a presidential race. Half the time, people don't even know who the vice president is. We don't this time around, but not really sure that's to our benefit. So it's been interesting to watch as I don't want to call it fallout, influence of this particular vice presidential election rolls out, specifically the number of people that are coming forward online and on television who have been vocally anti-Donald Trump that are saying, yeah, but I'm going to tell you what, after seeing J.D. Vance, listening to him, I want to tell you, that was very nice. He was very good. He's, I'm having to rethink what I was doing. It's fascinating to watch that. I don't remember the last time a vice presidential debate had that much impact. Most of the time, if they have one, it happens, and by the next night, everyone's forgotten it happened. That's not what's occurring this time around. So, very interesting. I will say this, buckle up, because today is the 3rd, Saturday is the 5th, that'll mark 1 month until Election Day. And things are going to get ridiculous. Having said that, things have been ridiculous for a minute, but they're going to get more ridiculouser. So be prepared. And as an example, it's going to come from all directions too. Some of the directions you wouldn't see coming, you wouldn't expect. Hurricane Helene has become a great opportunity for some on the left to act ridiculous. And fair play, by the way, but let's give the whole thing. The entire quote isn't being given. It doesn't change the point that we're making about this, but when Vice President Cackles McGee was in Augusta, Georgia yesterday, and she made the comment about $750 to anyone affected for immediate needs. And everyone, I think, very rightly exploded and said, wait a minute, that's it? Well, not quite. They're not playing the rest of it, where she went on to say that FEMA is also offering tens of thousands of dollars to residents that were affected by the hurricane for rebuilding costs, for paying their insurance deductible if they have one, for temporary housing costs, hotel rooms, whatever, where they've got some place to live while they sort this out. So there is additional money beyond that $750. Having said that, do you trust them? I don't trust them. There's nothing, there's zero reason to have trust in the federal government. Never really was, but there certainly isn't right now. And that's something that I think people are starting to realize as they watch this entire situation unfold. And I don't think it's going to get any better. Now, I will say this. During the best of times, during the very best of times, things are going great. Things are going super. I'm not sure it's wise to put a lot of trust in the federal government, because the federal government has the federal government's best interests at heart. But they can be better than they are right now. I think we can all agree with that. So you've got that going on now because of that, and because of the dock workers strike. We're seeing, and I joked about this at the beginning of the week. I joked about it. And there was one little part of my brain back in the back that said, come on, it's not going to be too bad. Nobody's really going to go down this road. Oh, yeah, I underestimated planet Earth again. We have a legitimate, honest-to-goodness run on toilet paper again. I told you right up front, the vast majority of toilet paper and paper towels are manufactured in the U.S. using materials gathered, created, developed in the U.S. The dock workers strike has nothing to do with, cleanliness. So I joked about it, and I said, well, that's it. I'm not going to mention this again. There's no sense in it. Now you have stores putting out signs with limits on the amount of toilet paper you can buy per day. You go online and try to order toilet paper. Go to like Sam's Club. They're out. It's gone. All of it. So we learned absolutely nothing 4 years ago because we went through this before. As a matter of fact, most people should still have a healthy amount of toilet paper left over from the last time we did this, back at the start of the pandemic. There were some people out there that they had their entire garage packed with toilet paper. And now here we go again. This is an artificially induced, panic-driven shortage that we're trying to get started again. We have got to break out of this mindset. And I'm seeing reports. I mean, I'm telling you my personal take on this that I'm seeing myself firsthand. Yeah, people are making a run on it again. Which does bring to mind a question to me. And this is the first thing that pops in my head. And I'm going to say this as delicately as possible, but still, it's got to be said. Just how much do you poop? I mean, how much of this you need? How quickly are you going through it? But that is a thing that's going on, and that goes back to what I was talking about with stuff coming from a weird direction. You're going to see a lot of that over the next month. You're going to see a lot of stuff where you're like, wait, what? What? And then we're just going to have to deal with it and move on. So hunker down, possibly plant some bushes in the backyard that have nice broad leaves. Well, come on. If we're going to start panic buying toilet paper, you better start working on plan B, right? Because once it's gone, it's gone. It's going to be gone forever, and we got to go get it right now. Okay, so then what? Okay, go get you a proper, not make sure it's not like accidentally poison ivy or something. That brings up an entirely different set of problems for you. And yes, I'm having a little bit of fun with this because why is this happening? There are plenty of psychological reasons. Everyone's stirred up. Everyone is scared 24/7. Everybody is worked up and looking for a reason. They are a panic looking for a catastrophe. It happened 4 years ago, and it's been this entire 4 years that we have been in that place. So we get a dock workers strike, and the one thing that was never mentioned as being affected by that, never brought up. We heard about bananas, we heard about clothes, we heard about vehicles, we heard about all these. Nobody mentioned toilet paper. But that's where everybody went. Part of it is learned behavior. Well, we've been through this. We've already fought these battles 4 years ago, so we gotta take care of business. Yeah. Let's calm down. We got a lot more stupidity to come in the next, 32 days. It's gonna get more ridiculous. So we might as well pace ourselves. And I'm sorry, panic buying toilet paper. Well, the first word in that term tells you whether or not it's a good idea. Panic. Anytime you describe anything and you have to use the word panic to do it, it's probably not what you need to be doing. And again, this isn't a hypothetical, it's happening. So stop it. Knock it off. Told you earlier in the week, of course, that Macomb High School has canceled their tailgating. That's a decision that's not going over, super well, as expected. You wouldn't expect anybody to be excited about that. But ultimately, it's the best case. Now, here is the question that I haven't heard anybody ask this question yet. Is this the new normal? Or are we going to reach a point to where we go back to business as usual after that fight? That is largely dependent on whether or not anything else happens, whether or not they get this under control and they maintain control. That's it. That's the bottom line of the whole thing. For now, everyone is still a little bit on edge, and rightfully so. Don't want to take any risks. Good move by the Macomb School District to cancel that. It's a shame that we let it get to the point to where we had to cancel it. The tailgating, because it's always popular. There's always all sorts of people out there having a great time, enjoying themselves. I've seen several people say this is why we can't have nice things. You are correct. This is exactly why we can't have nice things. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Mose says no leaves. People will have to wash their hands after using the bathroom. Well, I'm going to expose a little personal preference here. Same thing applies if you're using Scott brand tissue. You enjoy that and they run out of that. They got tissue paper over in the gift wrapping aisle. Same thing. My opinion. Can't help it. I'm a two-ply guy.
Don't stress. No one knows what goes on in our heads. We are invisible.
When we come back after the break, got one little tiny piece of audio from Tuesday night's work session I want to get to. That might mean some good news. Something that's needed attention for a while, maybe about to get taken care of. And we'll let you know what that is right after this on SuperTalk, Mississippi Pike County 93.5. Keep it here.
This is Kristen with Selman's Jewelers. I'm excited to start a new trivia question of the week, so stay tuned for the answers. This week's question is going to be about the October birthstone opal. Opals are formed how many years ago? Opals form in several different colors. We'd love for you to stop by and see our collection today. Come by Selman's, your family-owned jewelry store since 1945. 1311 Delaware Avenue, Macomb.
Don't miss Dave in the morning. Even when you miss it the first time, you can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. Super Talk 93.5 is always the place to be. Want to get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all around, it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Weekday mornings at 6 after 9 on 93.5 FM, or you can catch up anytime by going to
SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Dave in the morning at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. Catch up and catch on. North Pike football is back. It's another exciting season of North Pike Jaguar football on SuperTalk Mississippi Pike County 93.5. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A, Toyota of Brookhaven, Ag Up, Exhaust Pro, Southwest Mississippi Regional Medical Center, Peterbilt of Macomb, and Lot Furniture. It's North Pike Jaguar football on the air at 93.5 FM. Available online at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com and through your Alexa devices. back. SuperTalk, Mississippi, Pike County, 93.5. Old buddy of mine from here in Southwest Mississippi lives in the Jackson area. Posted a picture on Facebook of a sign put up by a Kroger up there, dated October 1st, Tuesday, to our valued customers. It's never good news when it starts with that, is it? It says, there is a limit of 2 per household per day on bath tissue. No particular brand, just in general, bath tissue. There is a limit of 2 per household per day on paper towels. I like that they put household in. That way mom can't get 2 and dad get 2 and each kid get 2. And before you know it, one family has wiped out the whole section. So 2 per household per day. I'm going back to what I said before. If you need more than 2 packs of toilet paper a day, you might need to look into some dietary changes. I'm just telling the truth. Now, apparently, there was an accident in Magnolia this morning. Somebody ran the red light on 51, ran off the road. Don't have any details, but it did kind of sound like maybe there was some kind of medical emergency that caused that to happen. Hope everybody is okay. Hope everything is fine. And we will find out details later in the day. I'm sure we'll start to get some notification about what happened there, but we certainly hope everybody is okay. And that's the thing. I think it illustrates a great point that we forget. Everyone is spending all of their time looking for the conspiracy, looking for the hidden details. What's going on? Oh my gosh, this is horrible. This is because of fill in the blank. And as a result, we have forgotten sometimes accidents happen. Sometimes bad things just happen, and it's nobody's fault. And we forget that sometimes. There are other things that happen that are somebody's fault and can be fixed, and it seems to take forever. And they dealt with one of the things I would put under that heading Tuesday night at the work session. One of the items on the agenda, if you remember, was the situation with the paving at the intersection of Marion and Delaware. Marion and Hart and Delaware, right there. Especially if you're going westbound, going towards the interstate down Delaware, I hope you have a 4-wheel drive, because it is not pretty. Now, they've done some things. They also had to recently fix something under the road. You can tell because the dirt's still there where they dug into the road on Marion there, right at the intersection. That intersection needs some attention, and it's needed some attention for a while. And yes, it did come up and it was discussed during the work session Tuesday night. And I just thought, it's just a couple of minutes, I just thought we'd take a listen to that so you know exactly what's going on.
The paving repair on Marion in Delaware?
We have to get it on the next paving asphalt repair when we go out again. It wasn't quite ready to be asphalt.
It wasn't ready? Okay. I'm not going to that now. I'm waiting for Delaware. See how long we got to let it wait before we put lines and asphalt down.
That was an interesting response. So they haven't done anything about it because it wasn't ready yet. Well, I guess it depends on your definition of ready. If by ready means bad enough, yeah, it's been a couple of years at least that it's been ready. But they said they're going to get it on the next paving cycle to go ahead and repave that intersection, Delaware and Marion. There are some issues there, but apparently it's like bread dough and yeast. We've let it rest long enough, and now it's ready to go.
Earlier you brought up manpower. I want to respectfully bring up an idea. Okay, so just a moment ago, you brought up the next time you're going to go do repaves. What does that process look like for you and your department of how often you're going out to do repairs, asphalt repairs? Is it once a week? Is it once every 2 weeks? Like, what does that look like?
Well, right now, what I do is schedule a whole week out of 1 month to go do asphalt.
Okay.
But my plan is, when I hire these 3 new guys, we'll be doing asphalt every day.
So you're hiring 3 new guys in water and sewer.
We budgeted for that department for 3 new persons.
And that's good news. Anybody we add to Public Works, that means more gets done. This is good news, I think. That way we can start to improve things, and they've got some plans in those directions.
Right.
Thank you.
You're hiring 3 new guys. I think that's great. Can we, and that's what they're going to be dedicated to do?
Not just those 3 guys. It's going to be like a rotating crew. I like for them to learn how to fix water leaks and learn how to do asphalt. So it'll be a rotating crew. The ones who with experience will be out there with those. It'll be some experienced guys and some unexperienced guys.
That makes so much sense. It is refreshing to hear an actual, workable, sensible plan being put into place. And that's what we got there. In case you didn't quite catch it, they're bringing these new guys in, and what he wants to do is build teams. Basically, an experienced guy or two with 1 or 2 of the new people, rotate them around and let everybody learn everything. That is excellent. That's a great idea. That's how you do it. This is how things get done. We complain a lot of times. Started this complaining about the intersection of Delaware, but we also need to give attention when things are being done properly, when there's an effort being made to make sure that we do things the best way we can. This falls under that category to me. It really does. So, hats off, round of applause, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not being sarcastic with that. I'm being 100% genuine. I love it when we hear a plan like this. So then you get everybody up to speed, but you're not just turning a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing loose and saying, now go figure it out. No. Well done. Well done. Excellent plan. Excellent job. We got new people coming on. We're going to start this training process. And the best way to train somebody, go do it, which means we'll see possibly a little bit of an uptick in some of these things being fixed and dealt with, a little bit of an increase in the rate at least, and that's nothing but good news. So, yeah, we spend a lot of time talking about what's wrong. You have to give equal time to what's right. We as a society aren't interested in that right now. If anything, when something is done properly, when something goes well, we use that as a way to be upset. Well, yeah, I don't know why we're so happy about that. It's the way it should be. Nobody should get bragged on for doing things just the way they should be done. I've heard that comment. I've had that conversation. No, you give credit where it's due. If you don't, you get a lot less good results. We might need to focus on that sometimes as well.
If you cry,
we won't. Come on, let's just be honest here. We won't. If somebody does something good, brag on them. If they do something bad, well, we've got that procedure down cold. Goes back to what I always say, you can't be upset 24/7. It's not productive. Final thoughts after one final break on SuperTalk Mississippi Pike County. Keep it here.
take a step towards you. Let me feel you in my hands. Let me cross this line and show you where it leads. There's a darkness down inside me that I know we'll both enjoy, and it's screaming from within to set it free.
This is Kristen with Selman's Jewelers. I'm excited to start a new trivia question of the week, so stay tuned for the answers. This week's question is going to be about the October birthstone opal. Opals are formed how many years ago? Opals form in several different colors. We'd love for you to stop by and see our collection today. Come by Selman's, your family-owned jewelry store since 1945. 1311 Delaware Avenue, Macomb.
North Pike football is back. It's another exciting season of North Pike Jaguar football on SuperTalk Mississippi Pike County 93.5. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A, Toyota of Brookhaven, Ag Up, Exhaust Pro, Southwest Mississippi Regional Medical Center, Peterbilt of Macomb, and Lot Furniture. It's North Pike Jaguar football on the air at 93.5 FM. Available online at supertalkpikecounty.com and through your Alexa devices.
Don't miss Dave in the morning. Even when you miss it the first time, you can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. SuperTalk 93.5 is always the place to be. Wanna get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Dave Hughes here. Remember, every weekday morning at 9:06, it's Dave in the Morning, where we solve the problems of the world, or at least complain about them, really loudly and sarcastically. And if you miss out, you can catch up with the podcast version of Dave in the Morning at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world.
There you go. That does it.
Time. Turn all of
Another one in the books.
over every boy and every girl.
And again,
Closing time.
a change to the scheduling, if you will. Because again, tomorrow morning I'm filling in for Paul on the Gallo Show, which means instead of waiting until 9:06 to see you, 6:06 will be the time. Lance and I will join you. Get you sorted out on everything that has happened. That's going to take a minute. And get you ready for the weekend. So I want you to have a good day. Stay safe. Ease up on the toilet paper hoarding. And we'll meet up again here tomorrow morning on the Gallo Show, starting at 6:06. My friend, I'll see you then.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.